And so that's it. Testing is over. We now wait for a very, very long time for Australia. Although for some teams, I don't think it's quite long enough. I've battled illness to be here today, but I'm suffering something new today. It's Ferrari hopium. I've got a bad case of it, and it's causing me some problems. Anyway, this is VFL.
Hello. Yep, as Phil says, welcome to VFL. It was the final week of testing in Bahrain last week, and so we're going to discuss who did well, who did badly, who's got some new flippy rear wings that nobody else has tried. So we're going to go through it all. And one thing, actually, an apology from me, because I did say on my own intro last week that I would discuss the Lewis Hamilton and Nicole Scherzinger relationship. No, not Nicole. I'm going back in time. Which one's it was? That one. Thank you. So we will discuss that
when we care.
However, now let's go back to testing. So let's start with the only team that have really done badly, because I said on the livery episode about when Aston Martin released the livery that Adrian Newey is either got something that's going to completely chew up the rest of the field, or he's got it catastrophically wrong.
I don't think Adrian Newey is the one who's got it catastrophically wrong.
Sorry, you're right, but at the point he's in the team principal role now.
Yeah, but the Honda decision was made way before.
My point being is the buck will stop with him.
It will.
So you might be harsh to say that he's got it wrong on this occasion, but what's going wrong with Aston Martin?
Well, they clearly can't turn the engine up.
Yeah.
And no matter how good the aero is, and there's some really cool, interesting bits on that car, like the rear suspension that joins to the rear wing pillar instead of, the crash structure, or instead of the gearbox, sorry. Really clever stuff, but they can't use it because that Honda engine's awful.
But even other aspects of the car, though, and again, it's minor. This is what testing's for. This is what shakedown and stuff was for. But I saw a video clip of the Aston Martin with the light, at the back that flashes in the rain and whatever, and shows them that you're hanging off.
Yeah,
and it's like, don't get me wrong, that is a minor thing, and it will be one of them things that's played on the internet and to make a point. But it's like,
I think they're just preempting what Lance Stroll's going to do to it.
I did like the fact that he had his first crash.
I know, yeah. The first guy to spin in the 2026 cars. I'm sorry, and beat it because there's been a few spins.
Yeah.
Lance Stroll, ladies and gentlemen. We need a countdown across the bottom.
In his defence, did Hadjar not beat him at shakedown?
Oh, he did. He did.
I cannot believe I have just defended Lance Stroll. But so anyway, we did say that there would be a Lance Stroll crash count. So at the bottom of your screen right now will be where we're up to, number 1, and we start racing in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Now, the most worrying thing for Aston Martin is apparently yesterday. Sorry, we're filming this on Saturday, so the last day of the Bahrain test, they were on their last battery.
And isn't it weird? The one thing that I actually praised when we did the first week episode last week, I actually praised a lot of the teams for a lot of consistency, and they've not had problems.
Yeah. Especially Audi and Red Bull, for that matter, have been phenomenal.
But yeah, Aston Martin's already be on the 4th battery. What do we think then, very quickly, to brush over Aston Martin? Because
I think they're a long way behind. I think the 4 seconds that Lance Stroll came out and said could be a lot more by the time. It could be less as well. They could be sandbagging for all we know. I doubt it.
It doesn't look like that. I don't think they've got any reason to.
I've got a feeling they'll be on the back row of the grid.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put a mini side bet on it. And Laura, when we were talking the other day, Alonso's not going to finish the season. I think he could throw the biggest tantrum, which is renowned for.
If that car's as bad as it is so far, then fair. Okay, so that's Aston Martin continuing to struggle. Let's move on to a little bit, because I think Cadillac look like they're down there with them. Not to be surprised, I would say.
I think they've had a really solid test, though.
They've had a solid test, but again, you can't read too much into times. I understand that during testing, but they've not done anything nothing solid. It all looks very pedestrian from Cadillac so far.
It does, and I don't know if that's intentional, because I think...
Are you going to accuse every team of sandbagging?
Yeah, everyone is sandbagging.
That's what worries you for Ferrari, then.
Except Ferrari, who went for full-on glory run. No, I think if you look at how the car's been moving, watched quite a bit of it this week. No, I didn't. I was working, just in case. Hi, Aaron. No, and it looks sluggish. The car, every other car looks very nimble and it doesn't. I just feel like they've gone for long run and get used to it,
Yeah.
and I don't think that's a bad strategy. So
makes sense. It just means they'll go until what, Imola-ish, not really having anything to talk about.
As you said at the start, who cares? But and the livery's awful. But we'll move. I think they're going to be at the back, but I think they've done a really good job to get onto the grid at all. Really,
yeah.
Audi have failed to.
Yeah, Audi's a surprise actually. The one thing, if you again go back to the episode because on last week, because we discussed what Audi had done differently with both the side pods and the front wing, and I'll be honest, I haven't caught a lot of it this week. I have actually been busy at work. To my colleagues, yeah. So I have Audi stuck with the thinner side pods that they had at the end of week one, or have they gone back to the wider ones that they had at the start of week one?
From what I could make out, I think they've stuck with.
Right. I was going to say, because I know that
someone will write it now and go, idiot.
I was going to say, if we're wrong, let us know in the comments.
I'd lose interest when I see that car. That's the problem.
We said ages ago, Audi and Cadillac will be who can be the best of the new boys, and at the moment, neither of them.
At the moment, they're both beating Aston.
Do you know there were people who thought Aston could be fifth as well, and now we're talking about Aston. Look, I said last week, if Aston Martin struggles continue, I don't anticipate that they will continue for very, very long, and I stand by that. I think Aston Martin will start the season struggling. I do not think that they'll be struggling come middle of the season, Austria, Silverstone, that sort of time. I was going to say Germany then, but that would have been there. I've been there for a while. Okay, so I'm not gonna. I might not ask him. I might not ask him. Should I walk away when I ask this next question? Let's give Phil his moment. Have I got a book I can read? Talk to me about Ferrari.
They look reasonable.
They look better than reasonable. Stop being modest.
No, because like I said at the very start of this, Ferrari hopium is creeping in. I'm trying to push it back down and stifle it. It's the only way you can get rid of it. No, they look like a team on a mission, don't they, this year? They've had good reliability. All right, Hamilton was parked up in the garage for quite some time on Thursday, unfortunately. But the engine's running well.
Well, they used the same engine, didn't they, for Barcelona Shakedown and for the first week? I know they changed it for the second week, but...
Yeah, and Hamilton's wasn't engine-related while he was in the garage. It was a chassis problem. They're bringing innovations.
Yeah.
Lots of very fancy innovations, including... Do you want to take it?
No, I was going to say
included this fast. Well, they've got two bits on the rear wing. They've got this rotating rear wing.
Yep.
Which
it will be a video of it will be on your screen.
Which is just phenomenal. And shout out to Gary Anderson, who I read a lot of his stuff, and he said the last time I saw a rear wing upside down, it was when the car was upside down.
Yeah.
And he's covered Formula One for decades, so. Whether it works or not, yet to be seen. It should, in theory, lift the back of the car up.
Well, two bits on it, which I thought was really interesting. They had it on for such a short period of time.
Yeah, they did the morning in it.
They did, and I don't even think they did the full morning. I think it sort of...
It was in the garage after 5 laps.
Yeah. So, obviously, as Phil said, that was chassis related, not necessarily anything to do with the rear wing. But the point being, we didn't see a lot of it. Then for the afternoon session, they removed it again. Rumours going around, and I know obviously I've seen the memes, but they're also backed up by rumours going around of Toto Wolff has actually gone straight to the FIA, and he's not the only one as well. It will be interesting to see if anything comes from that. The one thing I will say is I don't know what they're trying to claim is wrong with it. Yeah. Is it just teams going...
We didn't think of that.
The other thing I was going to say is there a reason no one else has thought of it?
See, that's what I've been trying to work out, is in theory... Because you've got to be full throttle for the rear wing to open now, haven't you?
Yep.
So they've got full traction because you wouldn't go full beam otherwise. So then if the wing's opening at that point, then lifting the back of the car a bit or reducing as much downforce off the back is only going to benefit.
Yeah.
Now, it's not DRS, so it's not you must have this. I think it's clever.
I think it's clever.
I don't think they've got it working as they wanted it to just yet. I think that's why it came off.
Do you think they'll have it for Australia?
I don't think they'll have it for Australia. I think it'll
Why?
be the first big upgrade package. I just don't think they understand it yet. I don't think they
Sorry, quite. That, I was going to say, do you think it's because they don't understand it, or do you think it's because the FIA won't let them, or because they think there is a possibility the FIA won't let them, therefore they're going to keep it under wraps until...
I mean, if they're going to do that, you'd have kept it under wraps for... well, no, because you wanted to test it.
Quite, exactly, and that's the point. The fact that they only tested it, yeah, you're right, Hamilton was in the garage for a while in the morning session, but the fact that they only tested it for such a very, very short period of time, it's weird. It either suggests it's really good and they don't want anybody else to see how good it is, or it doesn't work.
I mean, they could have easily put it on the card just to back up what the simulator says. And then stripped it straight back off and went, that's it done, before anyone gets understanding. I mean, it's clever until it gets stuck open.
And this is exactly what I was going to bring this up, because in normal DRS, obviously I know we don't have normal DRS, but the rear wing opening like that, that's still being the case. If that gets stuck, it's not the end of the world. If that twisting one gets right stuck like that, then you're in a real, for aerodynamics point of view, going around the rest of the track.
I think the thing the clever thing that Ferrari seems to have up the sleeve is the starts, which they raised to the FIA a year ago and said this turbo spooling and the turbo lag is going to be an issue.
Well, this is interesting because I know a few of the other teams have brought this up about I know Zach Brown has turned around and said that this new start procedure with the turbo lagging and all the rest of it is unsafe. A lot of people have turned around to him and just said it's not unsafe, you just haven't got your head around it, a la Ferrari. Now, Ferrari are basically what the FIA is. Now, I've heard this. What the FIA are potentially looking into is restricting what Ferrari did to allow Hamilton to have that super rocket fuel start that we saw in testing. Could be taken out of context. We don't know what the other cars around him were doing.
The fact that Behrman followed him into the first corner from even further back on the grid says the Ferrari engine seems to be very quick.
One thing I will say, obviously, as a McLaren fan, I don't want to see a Ferrari run away and whatever. But, I do. But as a Formula One fan, if Ferrari had been working on this, Fred Vasseur says he brought this up 12 months ago.
Yep.
If nobody's turned around in that last 12 months and raised a problem, you can't now just raise a problem because Ferrari have got their head around it.
No.
In fairness to them.
I mean, the odd thing is, I think a lot of it is to do with Ferrari's gearing they've gone with, because they're not using first gear at all around the track.
That's interesting.
Everyone else is downshifting to first at certain points, because obviously you can regenerate electrical power. Ferraris won't go near first once it's moving. It's as if they've completely short geared first as well.
It's just for the start procedure, and that's
just to get it for the start procedure.
I'm assuming pits as well.
But yeah.
But
I mean, that start was one of the most eye-opening things I think I've ever seen.
I'll try and find a video of it. If I found one, you would have seen it on the screen by now if I managed to find it. But
so Ferrari looked good, and apparently it's the race runs that seem to be frightening the others. Yeah. And I read something before, I don't know how true it is, it was scrolling through Instagram whilst getting ready for this. People are accusing Ferrari of sandbagging, which could be quite worrying. If...
It's your word of the episode.
No, we'll have a count at the bottom.
We actually said that sandbagging was, you weren't going to accuse Ferrari of sandbagging, but every other team, and now
every other team has actually accused. I don't believe they are. I think we.
I think this is reflective of what Ferrari have got. I think.
I think the top four actually. This is reflective pace,
which would bring me on too, because there are 10 other teams this year, Phil. Just so you remember.
No, not for me. There's not. we got to win 2026. World champions.
Just to bring it back to some of the 10 other teams, where do you see? Because I saw, and I won't get the image because I think it is copyrighted, so I won't get it for this. But I did see a fantastic little video on Instagram, and it was basically a Red Bull, a Ferrari, a McLaren, and a Mercedes all go around the track, and it showed the different times where they break. And one thing that I thought was fascinating is how quickly Mercedes came out of a corner.
Yeah.
But how late Ferrari were able to break. Now, the thing to take into account to that is if it's footage of Hamilton they're showing, he famously breaks later than Leclerc anyway. Yeah. So it could be out of context. But the
still,
point,
the catching on every
The point being is, and yet what worried me as a McLaren fan is the McLaren and the Red Bull seem to be not able to really break late into a corner, not really sort of project out of the corner with anything. They had relative speed down the straights. But the bottom line I'm getting
which is where the Ferrari lacked a little bit, which is an odd one.
And all four around the track were kind of still sort of side by side, even though they all had these different advantages, which is going to make it fascinating for a season. But if they're not quick out of a corner and they're not quick into a corner,
then where are they?
Where are McLaren? Yeah. Because DRS isn't a thing
It's a
anymore.
hard one to say with McLaren because they've not really set the world alight. But I don't. They're very McLaren, aren't they? This sounds like a stupid comment, but they never set the world alight last year.
No.
They just went about the business and got the job done. So I mean, I was reading somewhere and I kind of agree. I'd say the top 4 at the moment is the top 4 from last year.
I agree. Well,
I'd say Mercedes look a proper class act still, but have they got the drivers to deliver? As we've already said, I think Ferrari looks second. I think it might be Red Bull third.
Yeah,
and I think McLaren are a very close fourth. And I think the top 2 are close, and I think third and fourth are close. And I just think there's a tiny gap, but a gap that's appearing. And I think that's purely on race runs.
Who's fifth?
It's Haas or Alpine.
Do you know? Yeah, and it's interesting which is bizarre. I also think that the RBs have been going about their business quite quietly. I think a lot of the attention on what that faction, that stable, if you like, are putting together has obviously been based on the Red Bull side.
Even though it's the same engine, very fascinating and incredible.
But I think RB are going. I'm still confident in my bet that I said a few weeks ago.
I can't remember it.
RB will finish 5th. Or sorry, they will be they might finish
of the rest.
They might finish 4th if someone has a terrible season. But if we're right, the Ferrari have just got this all horribly wrong.
There's still chance, people. We can still balls this up by Australia.
Sorry, but I still think RB will be 5th if the top 4 is the normal top 4. If anyone breaks into it, I don't know why. I've got a feeling about them. Alpine are one to watch though.
And Alpine would be one to watch if they had more than one driver.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah, they're always still going to get nil points from Franco Colapinto, aren't they?
Precisely.
Who else is impressed then?
Haas.
Driver or car? Because I'll tell you which
good.
driver has impressed me actually before. Because whilst we talk on the top 4, I'll tell you which driver has impressed me. Other than the obvious, Charles Leclerc has been impressive. I think he's been quickest in effectively
every session,
in essence, in one way, shape, or form. I'll tell you what has impressed me though, Kimi Antonelli, because I gave him a hard time last season. And I know it was his rookie season, and I know he's 11 years old, and all the rest of it.
Made him cry, of course.
Yeah. But one thing I will say about Kimi Antonelli is he is in the same machinery as someone that's been put as favourite to win the World Championship this year. That is what we're talking about with George Russell. Whether you agree or not, I knew that was coming. Whether you agree or not, George Russell is favourite at the minute with the bookies to win the World Championship. And I think in pre-season testing, Kimi Antonelli's had his number. Russell might be doing long runs, and they might be doing different things. I get that. But Antonelli's been there or thereabouts with him.
He has, and he's had a lot less running because of issues.
So
I will agree with you there.
Antonelli's impressive. He's been, if we were to give a man of testing, I think mine would be Antonelli.
Fred Vassar.
I think the Ferrari's probably a Ferrari. I tell you what, we'll do it that way. I know.
Christ.
Ferrari are the team of testing because I think not only they've done what testing's there for. McLaren have disappointed me as a McLaren fan because they haven't.
That doesn't mean anything coming up to Australia.
Of course it doesn't. No. But when we're just looking at testing on its own, McLaren haven't done anything. They've not tried any new parts particularly.
Yeah, it's the same car. And they threatened that this was going to be the car for Australia as well.
Yeah, so
we still don't know what Ferrari's car is going to be for Australia because they threatened a different one.
Ferrari are using... It's like when football teams do pre-season friendlies and you put your new signing on to give him minutes. That's kind of what you should be doing here.
Yeah.
Do those upside down, flippy floppy rear wings. Do nonsense stuff.
Is that what we call it?
That's what I'm calling it, yeah. Esteban Ocon was on wets yesterday.
Oh no! What he's done is he's got Hamilton's old race engineer, and he thought that was the best.
But even that's what testing's for. Do this mental stuff, and McLaren have just not done nothing. So McLaren have disappointed.
Haas have been really. Who
would you say is your team of testing then? After we've had 2 weeks, not including the shakedown.
I don't want to say Ferrari because again the hopium's coming in.
I think you'd be justified in saying Ferrari. I say Ferrari.
I'm going to go Alpine, you know. I know. I'm going to say Alpine because all of us thought they were going to be naff.
Yeah.
And the car launch was naff and the livery's naff and one of the drivers
did it on a boat.
Every time we should have sailed off. Apparently that was a boat to Epstein's Island.
Don't do a Toto Wolff. Have you seen his comment? He's in danger. He's in trouble, isn't he?
It's when his name does come out. That's when we all know this.
I love the fact when he looked at the Mercedes media person and just went, "I shouldn't have said that, should I?" And you could tell the face from him or her was a clear, No. Why would you bring that up?
We don't have a media person, and Briatore has been mentioned in the Epstein files, and so anyway,
Kel surprise.
shock horror. In other news, the sky is up.
You forgot what you're on about.
I know. I think Alpine have impressed. Alpine. I think Aston Martin's PR manager's impressed because somehow they're still posting pictures as if they love Honda, which is incredible.
Isn't it weird how? And we to be fair, we called this. We did say this. We were fearful that the Honda engine wouldn't be the one that they've worked. And my reason being, Red Bull worked very closely with Honda on that power unit that supplied the Red Bull.
They were partners.
Quite, and that's the difference. And I said, we said this engine runs the risk of being the McLaren 2018 Honda.
Yeah, and lo and behold, it's worse.
Yeah.
I feel for Fernando.
I don't know.
Oh, come on!
I don't know if it's worse.
4 seconds off the pace.
I'd love to know what we were that year.
Not 4 seconds.
You
wouldn't have qualified.
It felt like 3 weeks.
Are they at risk of the 107% rule?
Do you know? I wondered if that's still a thing.
I'm sure it's still a thing. Will
someone find out in the comments. Yeah, I don't know if that's a thing.
We
anymore.
Probably should, but we do a F1 podcast. But I can't be bothered. Someone find out and tell me.
I remember the 100%. Okay. So you've gone for Alpine as your team.
Alpine have really impressed me.
Who's been your team that's disappointed? Is it obvious?
Do you want to know another one?
Go on.
Williams.
Do you know what? I think they've disappointed, but one thing I will say for Williams is don't forget 2 weeks ago they didn't have a car.
No, and they've ran Bahrain very well, and they've put lots of miles in the car. It's just, if these rumours are that it's so overweight and it is actually quite slow, and if you're going to be late, turn up good. Yeah. It's like turning up to a party and having your joggers on.
Speaking of rumours, actually, because I did say this, because Zach Brown has had to fight off a rumour. That there are problems with the Mercedes power unit, not only the ones that are in the Mercedes itself, that are in obviously all the customers, and there is a possibility that the FIA, slight at this stage, these are rumours, that the FIA won't let Alpine, Williams, McLaren and Mercedes actually compete at Australia because of these the fuel breach. So, where do you stand on that rumour? I'm going to guess by that you didn't know that.
I've heard the rumour about the fuel, but I heard that only Audi and Ferrari have homologated fuel for the 26, or have used their fuel for. So if that's the case, then there's going to be Hulkenberg keeping Hamilton off the podium again, like Silverstone.
The only thing that I would say we've said it a million times, if you're cheating, you get disqualified. We said it about McLaren at Vegas. We said it about Ferrari in China. If you're cheating, like, we're not being biased about this, and I'm certainly not being biased because it potentially affects McLaren. One thing I will say is
this cheating though?
Give us a little bit of leeway with the new regulations and stuff like that. I suppose that's the only thing I'd ask for or suggest. But maybe, I don't know what the end.
I think the problem is this is a huge push. This is carbon neutral fuel, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is fully synthetic carbon neutral fuel. It's easier for me to say. In a brand new power unit that's running 50% electricity and 50% PU with a turbo, which has a new turbo lag, which is I think that's more of a push on the suppliers and the teams, and I'm not sure that's fair.
Agreed.
But counter argument,
if they're cheating and it makes them quicker.
Counter argument, if it's not right and it's not within the rules and it's wrong, and Pirelli get Pirelli get battered for what tyres they bring. They're too soft, they're too hard, they wear too quick, they don't wear at all. But Pirelli are a supplier too, and they still provide tyres. So
agreed. So we'll keep you up to date on that if we hear anything. If there is
Ferrari.
any quickly before we depart, driver of testing for you.
Who's been my driver of testing? Max.
That's a bit out of the blue.
I just think he's just grabbed it by the skin of it. I mean, if you watch any footage of Max, he's on it already.
Yeah, agreed.
He has just woken up and gone, well, I'm coming for my title again.
Okay. I'm going to stick with Kimi Antonelli.
Although that's a valid choice as well.
I said before.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is it from us this week. Let us know, let us know in the comments if the 107% rule still applies. We probably should know that, but if it does apply, we've not seen any reference to it for about 10 years, so we can be forgiven for not knowing. So let us.
No one's been an Aston Martin Honda before. That's why.
Because there wasn't there in 2018 because we would have breached that. Drop us a like, drop us a comment, share the video, please, drop us a subscribe as well, and we will see you next week. Where next week we will be giving our predictions for what we think will happen during the 2026 season. What we will do is halfway through the season, we'll then revisit that episode to see just how awfully wrong we are. But for now, for us, for this week, see you later.